Come, Monster Men.
Boo.
Well done.
I had the big one, and I said, oh, well, let's do a boo. And then it did a little boo. What's up, boo?
Anyway, today on Monster Men, your favorite horror podcast, we're going to be talking about one of our favorite shows and practically a religion for you.
It is ridiculous.
We're talking about Ghost Hunters.
This is the season 9, the mid-season kind of wrap-up that we're going to do. This season's been different than the others before it. I was just telling Jack, like off over there, I said, my ass has been planted in that seat every Wednesday at 9 o'clock for 9 years. It's a good excuse at this point to be left alone.
I'm going to take a picture of the chair and post it on the episode.
And we have somebody sitting in there. She's a little dead, though.
By the way, this is Hunter Shea. I'm Jack Campisi, and part of the reason we're talking about Ghost Hunters is because we're celebrating the ghostly book that you just had released.
Popper.
Sinister Entity. So just a shameless plug before we get going.
Yes.
If you like ghosts.
Sequel to Forest of Shadows, so if you liked Forest of Shadows, we pick up 13 years later. Lucky 13.
But I read it. You don't have to have read Forest of Shadows.
Exactly.
Either, but
Stand alone.
Well. So anyway, Ghost Hunters, mid-season. I've noticed some changes in Ghost Hunters, but I guess I'm going to let you start. But
yeah.
I can tell when I'm watching this season versus older seasons, not just because Grant's not there.
Oh, you could tell with the sound off, with the picture off. I mean, it's so different visually and videoally.
Well, the thing I noticed is they're now narrating the episodes.
Yeah, because they kicked out Mike Rowe.
Which...
Because this was not a dirty enough job.
I love Mike Rowe.
Now Jason is doing it. It's... I think Jason, he actually does a pretty good job as a narrator. I think he's got a good voice for it.
He can let you know what they're thinking a little bit better than an outside narrator could.
He always sounds cranky, though.
He's got to lighten up a little bit.
I mean, anything I say criticizing the show, just realize I love the show.
We say with love.
It's absolutely. I criticize because I love, because there are things I see that I'd like to.
The thing is,
tweak.
There are other paranormal shows we could talk about where we wouldn't say it with love. But Ghost Hunters is a paranormal show that we both love. Because not only do you get good entertainment out of it, you get what seems like pretty grounded paranormal investigation.
Yeah.
You've got people that you care about, and they're not a bunch of nut jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like an extended weird family at this point. I think the editing in this season is a little... They've borrowed from Ghost Adventures a lot. It's a little overproduced for my taste. They kind of do a lot of weird jump cuts and reenacting things that are going on when they're talking about I'm not too thrilled about that because that's not what the core of the show is about.
I think that has to be a reflection of the battle for ratings. There's so many. When Ghost Hunters came out, they were the only ones. Now there's 50 million. I mean, BioChannel is practically all paranormal. BioChannel should just be called Paranormal Channel with an occasional biography.
And every celebrity has seen a ghost and sit down and watch them talk about their stories. But you're right, because when the show first came on, we could be happy watching 5 to 10 minutes of them fixing a sink and a toilet. And then get on to the ghost stuff and you were good. But you're right, I think it's the influx of all these shows where they have to keep the pace.
And where you get critical on a paranormal show is that if you and I went and investigated 10 places, chances are nothing would happen in all 10 places.
Right.
It's a very rare occurrence that something supernatural would happen, but perhaps it does. You don't have a TV show if there's not anything happening. So
yeah.
You're always suspicious of when there's sound effects over... So that reenactment stuff helps. Well,
it helps build the tension, and I understand it. I do understand it. One thing I want them to stop doing is teasing us with next week's episode of Steve reacting to a spider. I am so sick to death of him. Oh! Anytime you do that, there's nothing paranormal. It's just
either a spider or an airplane ticket.
I just don't get it. And it's a different dynamic without Grant. Granted, he's gone. But I think the show does miss him, and I wonder this is Jason's year to transition it to the younger crew and see who's up to, who can step up to the plate and take over for him.
It's tough because there's not a personality identifiable like those two guys are.
No.
And Steve's not even on par with Grant as far as...
Steve's just so kind of like flatline.
Yeah, he's low-key.
Until he sees a spider and then he jumps up.
He's a good character on the show, but he's not a front man.
No. You know who I think the front man could be?
Who's that? Josh Gates?
The one I'm missing the most.
Oh, Josh Gates would be great. We're coming down here to the haunted Sheehan house. Al Michaels and I are going to go. We're going to bring Bobby V with us. Then go to my restaurant. And Ray Romano. Oh, no, Deborah. And Kermit the Frog. Kermit the Frog. Kermit the Frog and Josh Gates here. Why are there so many songs about rainbows and ghosts? Ryder?
I think the person who actually would be best is Amy.
Yes.
Who the show misses terribly because she's out on maternity leave. So this part of the season up to now, which we're at the end of February, not having her there has been... It is a big... To me, it's almost a bigger hole in the show than Grant not being there.
And what happened to Chris Williams? She went over to Ghost Hunters International. Now she's gone. I miss her.
Well, I read she doesn't want to do this anymore. She's out of the gate. She got really disenchanted with GHI with the bloodletting episode where they had Susan Slaughter cut herself or whatever. I don't know. But she's done. She does something with genealogy.
Well, if you're watching this, we miss you.
Yes, we do. But Amy not being there...
Amy's really cool.
Amy's cool. She's intelligent. I mean, she's one of the best spoken...
If she was a haunting, she would be an intelligent haunting.
I just think they need her back.
Yeah.
And what's the guy that she's partnered with who won Ghost Hunter Academy?
See, this is where I can't remember everybody's names.
I remember his name. I can't believe I can't. Adam.
You know who?
Adam.
Adam.
He misses her. I could tell he misses her.
They brought in some other girl who's...
Michelle, who was the runner-up on the show with him. Now she's on it. She looks totally different. She's got like a pixie.
She's a pixie.
She's actually pretty good. She's got a good presence on the show. They had another girl, I think Ashley, on at the beginning of the fall, and I don't know, I guess it wasn't gelling, and they pulled her aside. This is my greatest firing of all time, where they pull her aside, they go, hey, we just want you to know you're doing a great job, and we want you to get more seasoning in the field, meaning, you're not on the show anymore, kid. And she had this...
Pack your knives and go.
She was saying all the right things, but it was kind of like the rest of her was like packing up, and like she's saying all the right stuff, but she was dazed, like, oh wow, I just got fired from Ghost Hunters. Oh.
Who's the guy, Brian, that got canned?
Brian Harnois?
Yeah. You miss him, too, because he was the character that brought some drama to the show. And
speaking of drama, he posted a Facebook thing where it sounded like he was going to kill himself, and he disappeared.
Oh, boy.
Eventually, he was found. Supposedly, he's having troubles, but I heard he's okay.
Well, wish you well.
But see, that's the fun stuff.
Yeah.
That's the personal drama.
That's gold, baby. Gold. So what have you noticed? I don't watch it consistently.
Right.
So I never am sure if I'm watching a rerun or what, but I can tell when it's this season because of the narration and the lack of Grant. But
and the music.
Has anything happened? Have they gone anywhere that you've specifically liked?
I mean, look, after 9 years, it's all blending into one giant haunting, and there's nothing that's really stood out. Which is good because I'd hate to see the evidence get so dramatic that now it's completely beyond the ability to believe, even suspend belief for an hour. I don't know. I still like the show. One of the things that they've gotten away from, and I think a lot of people talked about, is when it started, it was, and they like to say often, we're here to help. Right?
Yep.
You're having a problem, we're here to help. Who are they helping when they're going to an abandoned asylum or a restaurant or hotel because you're helping them increase sales and foot traffic because now it's haunted? But they're not helping people. The episode that was on last week, half the episode, they went to somebody's house who it had been in the family for 30 plus years or whatever, and there's a haunting and they're getting nervous, and it was Steve, Tango, Jason, and Michelle. That reminded me of the old days when Chris first came on. 5 guys in a house, trying to help somebody feel better. I said, wow, that was old school right there.
Tango is the most interesting journey. You kind of watch this kid grow up from the
oh my God, yeah,
the goofy pledge that they would play tricks on,
make him go places nobody else wanted to go,
and all that, and the bumbling. And now he's like this seasoned veteran guy.
And very stoic and kind of quiet and does his job. Every now and then we'll do some magic.
He's got a sense of humor. There was one where him and Steve were in a hospital, and so they started going, "We're doctors, and whoever doesn't want shock therapy, let us know." And he's like, "You can call me Dave," and then Steve's like, "You can call me Doctor Steve," or whatever. And like, they're clowning around. And I'm like, that's what you and me would be like on a ghost hunt.
And I like that their dynamic is great. And Grant being gone, now Steve's with Jason. So you lost that dynamic. And there's a lot of interchanging of people between Michelle's here and Adam's not here and Britt's here and KJ's. So you're losing a lot of the teams. There's great teams in there that, I don't know, I think they just need to solidify it a little better. So, I mean, season's fun. Having a good time with it. Just some tweaks that they've made that I understand are for entertainment purposes only. So I'm not going to, bitch and moan about it. But
I would say don't forget about Ghost Hunters with, all the other ghost shows that are on. You can tend to, Paranormal State is on in syndication or whatever.
Yeah.
Like for 4 hours and from like 4 o'clock in the afternoon until 8 o'clock at night, there's
Paranormal State.
one after one after the other. So, you could get your fill on that and then be like, I don't want to watch Ghost Hunters.
Mm-hmm.
For me, Ghost Hunters is more of the meat and potatoes of ghost hunting shows. It's the staple.
Yeah. If there are two things you could do more houses with people, help people, bring an actual scientist on board. Not some pseudoscientist. I want to see some guy with gray hair who's been doing this for a long time and can actually maybe come up with some actual scientific field experimentations.
Go through the archives of Jim Harold's Paranormal podcast. There's
oh my God,
every 4 or 5 episodes, there's some guy who's like the skeptical, real hauntings guy.
Right.
Who's like, out of 100 places I've gone, I saw something in this one place. So he's like, there's something to poltergeist, but this is, I think, he's grounded. He's not a total nothing. He's not totally closed-minded, and he's not like, that's an orb.
Right, that's what you need.
You need somebody like that. There's tons of them out there. Stay away from the psychics and find a...
Get some actual science. I know they say they're doing scientific. They're trying to do a scientific approach, but they're not scientists.
I do like when Josh Gates guest stars, though, because he's
a force unto himself.
Yeah,
he changes anything he's on.
He does, and he's got sort of the investigative chops.
At least we think.
At least he's made us carry a TV show.
Right. No, he's awesome.
Like that. And that's where I really like Fact or Faked.
That show could be fun sometimes. They do have a scientist. But again, he's too young. I want
Batman's
an
a
old
scientist?
guy. I want an old guy in a lab coat. An actual scientist.
That's what I need. More lab coats.
Like you get it and put the Ghost Hunters logo on and stuff, and then we could buy a pair.
So it's February right now as we're filming this. Are they on hiatus right now?
They will be going after this week, their winter break or whatever, and I guess they'll be back on in April. So
okay, so catch up now. If you've missed the season, catch up.
Syfy's doing a lot of marathons and stuff, especially on the weekends, so you can easily catch up.
But I guess for the record, we're still big fans of Ghost Hunters. We're glad
We're not gonna let you go.
We don't mind seeing it change too, because the same thing over and over. Like the narration is kind of a breath of fresh air.
Right.
Brought something different to it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna complain. Just moan, whinge.
All right, so keep it up and on to the next.
On to the next, brother.
Arg.